Socrates held up the mirror to check his surroundings. After confirming that no guards were nearby, Michael was ready to begin digging. He then asked Socrates to create some noise. Socrates understood what Michael meant and began shouting loudly. Taking advantage of the chaos, Michael kicked open a brick, revealing a hole. The guards were alerted by the loud noise, and the prisoners gradually quieted down. Meanwhile, Michael quietly crawled out of his cell, but this was just the first step of the escape plan. The next day, when Michael returned to his cell, he was shocked to find the warden sitting in his room waiting for him. A sense of dread immediately washed over him. He also noticed the leaking screw hole. Fortunately, the warden didn't notice anything unusual, but he had worse news for Michael. He was going to transfer Michael to another prison, and the transfer would happen the very next day. Michael begged the warden not to do this, but the warden remained unmoved. There was nothing he could do either. At this point, it's important to mention a powerful force outside the prison. As Michael's brother Lincoln had said, the vice president's brother was not the one Lincoln had killed. He was framed. A mysterious organization deliberately falsified surveillance footage and killed all those who could testify. They unexpectedly discovered that Lincoln had a brother named Michael, and they locked him up in the same prison on charges of robbery. The mysterious figures contacted the warden and demanded that Michael be transferred to another prison. It was clear that this woman was the real mastermind behind everything. But Michael wasn't willing to give up. He sought help from D.B. Cooper. Cooper told him that all he had to do was write a request, make some excuse about being sick, and then have the higher-ups reject the request. It would take at least a month for the process to go through, and during that time, no one would be able to take any action. Michael immediately followed Cooper's advice. When the warden saw that the process was legitimate and in accordance with regulations, he smiled and reluctantly allowed it. Michael was able to continue with the escape plan. Michael had Socrates pretend to be hanging clothes as a cover. Meanwhile, he crawled into the brick hole, searching for a passage to the medical room. However, Michael soon discovered that a cement wall blocked the way. Moreover, the cell was subject to random roll calls, so he didn't have enough time to break through the wall. Just as Michael was at a loss, Socrates came up with a clever solution. The only time they wouldn't have to worry about roll calls was when they were in solitary confinement. This would give them enough time to break through the wall. But the problem was, how could they cause a disturbance to get themselves sent to solitary?